Hi everyone.
All right, it is a wet, muggy, no more light out day. So we're back filming on the couch.
Yep.
I guess technically recording on the couch. Anyway. Hello everybody.
You know.
Yeah. All right, so today was an interesting day. My goal, do you mind if I just go in? I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go.
When do you not?
I don't know. My goal today was to start working on the 1930s house. And as you all know, we're going to be removing the floor out of the original 1930s house and putting in a new floor. And so that means moving a bunch of stuff off the floor so we can rip the floor out. It didn't quite work out that well for that project today. I will say I got a little bit of that done today. Just a little bit. Because I went downstairs under the house, and you guys know how when you enter under the house, there's the room first that's where our freezers are. Well, I went down there and I stepped in, and there was about an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches, probably an inch and a half of water in the floor of that room.
The cellar.
Cellar, we'll call it a cellar, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought it was because of all the rain we were getting that something was causing it to come in from, the outside sources and make its way under the walls and into the room. But then upon closer inspection, I found that there's a hose spigot, a hose connection in that room, and we use that to bring water out to where the animals are, the geese, the pigs, the sheep, the chickens. We've been doing that for months, a year, long time, and no issues. Well, I was looking at it, and the hose, when it goes out that room, it kind of sags down, then goes out the door, and at the sag down, it was just dripping, drip, 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 pretty heavily. And so I thought that maybe it was like a puncture in the line, in the hose or something. What turned out to be was because everything froze, it expanded the twist-on connection, and when it unfroze, it was loose, but I didn't know that. So I turned the hose on to go use it.
Which was yesterday, I think was the first day that we actually turned it on to use it.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Without freezing. Yeah, it was the first day that we left it on.
Yeah.
So that all happened just overnight.
Yep, overnight. So inch and a half of water just. So thankfully that's not, it's not directly under the house, but it's not good. It's where the freezers are. There's other stuff. Most everything was above the water, or the stuff that was touching the water wasn't going to soak in the water, other than like some of the concrete blocks and stuff. And it wasn't high enough to where it's going to affect the freezers. So I started with the process of figuring out what I'm going to do to get the water out of there. And I thought I was going to have to go get a pump, like a submersible water pump or something. And then I remembered that we have one here, because when we lived in Portland, we had an in-ground pool, like a 22,000 gallon in-ground pool. And there were times that we needed to put a pump into the pool to bring water out. And so it's a fully submersible pump. So luckily we had that, and I remembered where it was in all of our stuff. So I grabbed that. I actually found the connection where you can put a hose onto it and put that all together, and I was able to find a low enough spot on the concrete floor of that room, which is not a smooth concrete floor by any means. It's pretty choppy. And I put it into the low spot, and I started it up, and it started bringing water out of the room. But I would say only about half of the water that was in there was able to be pulled out by that pump, because it's supposed to be fully submerged, and the pump was only getting, an inch of water from the bottom of it. And so by the time that it brought it down to, half an inch of water, it wasn't sucking up the water anymore and pushing it out the hose. So there's still some standing water in there, a lot less than there was, because I was able to take a broom and like sweep a bunch of the pockets of water throughout the room into that area that the pump was running. And then I decided, well, why don't I take one of the dehumidifiers? I have 2 dehumidifiers in the actual crawl space. And so why don't I just take one of those and put it into that room and have it, drain, its drain line just go out of the room. And so that's what I'm doing. So the dehumidifier is running in there. It's elevated. It's draining down with gravity. The door is closed to seal that room more. So the dehumidifier is taking humidity mostly from that air, not bringing in fresh air from an open door. And it's just going to have to take its time to dry out that room. Yeah. And then the other dehumidifier is still in the crawl space, and I actually hadn't had those running because of the freeze. And so I walked into the crawl space and everything was just like, that the vapor barrier that I have, that white, it was like you could just run your hands and it just dripped water because it just collects moisture so bad in there.
Yeah.
So I turned that dehumidifier on too. So it was a day of water, side projects, things that weren't planned.
Wet. It's a very wet day.
Very wet day. So
lots of rain too.
Yeah, thankfully we had equipment that can work on the problem, and also thankfully nothing got ruined, and it's a room that
we weren't storing anything important in besides the freezers.
The freezers, yeah.
And they're raised up off. They're not sitting on the ground. They're on feet.
Yeah. So that was
side
fun.
Project.
That was a little, yeah.
Gotta love side projects.
Yeah.
It's like, just want to get one thing done.
I just wanted to focus on I have to get everything out of the living room, out of the kitchen, out of the master bedroom, and I have to switch the bathrooms that we use. We're using the master bathroom, and we're not going to be able to get access to that once I tear out the floor. So I'm switching everything over to the hallway bathroom, and we needed to run into town to get a new toilet because I didn't want to take up the toilet that's in the master bathroom.
Because you don't have to remove the floor there, just the floors up to it.
Right, correct. Yeah. Yes, good. Yeah, the reason that we're just removing everything out of there to move it into the hallway bathroom, so the hallway bathroom is functional. So what that really means is I'm removing the sink, put it into the hallway bathroom. We went out and bought another toilet, which we needed to do anyway, and we'll install that. And then that'll be our bathroom, and we'll be able to access it going in through the back door, which is the sliding glass door in bedroom number 1 or 2, whatever was back, whatever bedroom number we're calling that. Yeah, so it'll be fun.
It'll all get done.
Yeah, it will get done. I'm excited. I'm excited about this project.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the day.
Yep.
That's today.
I worked.
Yeah.
I was online. It was very loud. It was. We didn't have anyone working today on the yard project because it's pouring rain almost all day today. But I like the sound of the rain on the metal, but not when you're on conference calls. Like on speakerphone, people are like, "What is that?" It's like you just hear.
Oh, on the roof.
On the roof of the RV.
Roof. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you just hear the constant rain, and then you hear it on the pop outs and everything, and so it does get kind of loud in here when it is raining pretty heavily, and it would start pouring rain, and then it would stop, and then I was watching the chickens because I have all my windows open so I can kind of view and watch everything, and it's so funny, like the chickens just scratching away, just don't even care, and then Winston just laying in the middle of, he just lays in the rain, he loves it. Levi gets under cover and doesn't like getting his wet, but Winston, even today, like he was just laying in the middle of the driveway just getting rained on.
Yeah, and then he stands up and shakes off, and all this water goes off of him, and
then he's like, okay, I'm good.
That's good.
And then he'll rub up against you, like, doesn't care that he's getting you wet.
soaking wet.
Yep. It's like, buddy, we're not waterproof like you are. We're not repellent.
Not unless we're wearing a jacket.
Yep. So yeah, good day.
Yeah.
Ready for the weekend.
Oh, you have tomorrow off.
I do.
It's your flex day. Or
Today's my
called.
Friday. It's my 980.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you know what you're going to do tomorrow?
I have to look at books. Because I am a procrastinator. I do really, really good under pressure and deadlines.
Yeah, when there's a deadline. So when we decided we're going to remove the books, remove the floor from the house. That meant having to remove the bookshelves from those rooms, which meant having to go through the books and do something with them. And we've always planned that we're going to get rid of the majority of those books and keep some of them. And you still had that many books, about 2,000.
About
2,000 books to go through to determine which ones you want to keep. And this was a couple weeks ago that we decided this. And I was like, Katie, you need to do that. I was forgetting also that we both know, and this works out really well, when there's a deadline or when there's something that has to happen immediately, Katie's on it, and she will do it. She'll get it done. But if you're like, oh yeah, you have like a couple weeks, not going to happen.
Not until that time frame is up. So, yeah, that's what I always used to, like when I'd work with other project managers and they'd be like, I don't know, when do you think you can get it done? I'm like, give me the deadline and it'll be done. Just tell me when you need it and it will be done. Don't give me 3 weeks because I'm not going to touch it for 2.5.
Yeah.
It's just my style. I've always been like that. But I do really well getting stuff done. So unfortunately, I'm gone all next week, which means I have 2.5 days to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
I got this.
You can do it. No
2,000 books, no problem.
Yeah. So we found a place. We've donated some books to a place, local place. It's a donation center, and they help with church and something else.
And veterans.
Okay. Yeah. Church and veterans. So we like donating to them, and we called them up and said, hey, we have 2,000 more books. They're like, yeah, great. So we scheduled for them to come out a week from today, basically, and with their moving truck or whatever, and take the books. But they want them to be boxed or in totes before they get here.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I said, well, I don't have any boxes or totes. And they're like, well, we give you how many you need, like 40? I'm like, sure. So I have to go get 40 totes. And then after you've gone through them and decided which ones you want, unless we can get the totes maybe tomorrow, then you can start putting them in
that'd
totes.
be easier to just put them, because originally what we were going to do is I was going to go through them, and the ones I didn't want to keep that we wanted to donate were going to stay on the bookshelf, and then the ones that I wanted to keep we were going to remove and put them into the addition where the floor is going to stay, so that way when we put fix the floors and put the bookcases back up, we would then have a place to put them, and then they could come in and just, we could just take them right off. Because I don't know how many of y'all have tried to move big boxes of books. It's not fun.
No, it's very heavy.
And we've been moving books for a year now.
It's getting, sometimes we move books and then we have to move the books from the place we just set them to for something else, and it's just becoming too much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So.
And I know a lot of y'all have requested books, like if you want, like if we come across some, and it's just really, unless you're local, it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, logistically, it really doesn't work for us. I mean, there's the categorizing them, figuring out which books we have, and then telling y'all, and then getting the address, and then shipping it, driving it to town, shipping it, then the shipping costs. Like, it's just one-offs like that. And even shipping, 5 or 10 books, very expensive. And even 5 or 10 at a time, it'd just be way too laborsome. So we just found a good donation center that does good with their donations, and
they'll come pick them up for us.
Yeah.
And so we don't have to make multiple trips, because if we were to try to take all of those into town, it would be at least 4 to 5 trips into town minimum. And that's us packing them, loading them, unloading them, and it's just a lot. So
and then there's a second option if for whatever that donation doesn't work, the local library does an annual book sale, and so we can donate to them as well. But that requires us to bring the books to them. I don't believe they would come and get some. Maybe that's not true. I don't know entirely, but anyway, that's a backup option. So
Yeah.
and so that's kind of that's how that's going to work.
We're at,
yeah. So you're looking through books tomorrow, and I'm moving stuff around.
Woo!
And I'll probably need your help moving stuff around.
Usually, yeah. At least it's not freezing anymore. It's not. That was the one bad thing with last week. I did plan on going through the books last week, but it was so cold in that house. And you can't really go through books very easily with gloves on. At least not the gloves that I have. And I was like, dang, it's too cold in here. So
Yeah.
I'm glad it's going to be in the 50s. It'll be rainy. It'll be perfect.
It'd be very nice.
Perfect weather.
Yep.
Perfect book weather. It's like book nook weather.
I can build you a little fire in there, and you can
Burn the floors.
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, that'll help me get the floor down. Just burn it off. All right. Well, that's it.
Yep.
So
All right.
we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Kinsley.